workshops. Ma'am held some positions as a former convener in NMC, Regional Center for MAT, and member at Institutional Ethics Committee. Ma'am received many awards and recognitions, and received as a certificate of appreciation for research in publication by SRMS IMS on 4 July 2014, and received Professor G.K. Paul Award for the best research in cardiovascular physiology by Association of Physiologists of India in October 2015. And now I would like to request ma'am kindly lead today's session on the reference writing. Please, ma'am. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you so much for a kind introduction. And I will like to share my screen now.
Yes, ma'am, please.
1 minute. Are my slides visible? Are my slides visible?
Not now, ma'am.
1 minute. Yeah, is it visible now?
Not visible, ma'am. There is a bottom option is a share option.
Yeah, I'm sharing.
Yes, ma'am. Now visible. Now visible, ma'am.
Okay.
Ma'am, perfect. Okay, ma'am. Please continue. Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Okay. So the topic which has been allotted to me is reference writing. So the learning objectives which I have for you is to understand what is referencing at the end of this session. What is the need of referencing? What are the sources of references? What are the styles of reference writing? And how to choose which referencing style to be used? What are the principles of reference writing? And in the end, we will have few exercises and some examples. Now, what is referencing? Now, referencing ये act है acknowledge करने का whatever sources we have used in our work, such as if we are writing some book, or we have written some article, or we are writing some material for a website or any other material. Now, if you're using these sources, means we are using somebody else's work. So it means that we have to cite these sources in a consistent and accurate manner throughout our work. And for that, we have to use a specific referencing style or format. So if we do not do this, say we may land up in trouble, and you all must be aware of the term plagiarism. So how to avoid plagiarism is by referencing the sources properly. So this session is all about understanding how we are going to reference the source of information which we have used, and how in a proper way we are going to acknowledge. Now, the next question which comes in mind is, why is it required for a scientist or for a researcher to know about referencing? So to answer this question, say why is referencing required? Now, the first reason for this is we have to give credit to the original author or creator of the work. Now, when we reference, it allows us to acknowledge the source of information. It may be just information, or it may be an idea which we have copied, or data that we have used in our work. Now, if we cite these sources, we give credit to the original author or creator of the work. And in that way, nobody can say that, you have copied my work, you have cheated my work, because you are giving the credit to the original author or creator of the work. Now, the second reason why referencing is needed, because you have to enable the readers to locate and verify the sources. Now, when you reference, say you have referenced some article in your study, and the person who is reading your work wants to get the information or wants to locate from where you have obtained that information. So once you have referencing is done accurately, it provides the readers with the information with using that information, they can locate and verify the resources you have used in your work. So एक तरीके से they can keep a check on whether you have done the groundwork properly, कि आपने जो sources उसमें mention करे हैं, are they right or wrong? And they can verify your argument. Say if you are saying something in your study and you have used a reference, you have cited somebody else's work, but while you are doing the referencing, you have not written the right reference. So in that way, when the reader tries to match that thing, he will come to know that you have cited something else and your referencing list shows something else. So they can always verify your arguments. And say if some reader wants to explore the topic in more depth, so they can always see your referencing list, and from that list they can get more articles, and then they can get more knowledge and in-depth knowledge about that topic. Now another reason why referencing is required, it is to demonstrate your own knowledge and research skills. Now if you have accurate and appropriate references in your work, so you just show to everybody, to the reader who is reading your work, to the editor who is you know uh, looking into your article, that your own knowledge and your research skills are good. So your credibility as a researcher or as a scholar is further established if your referencing is right. Now another reason why referencing is required is to comply with academic standards and avoid academic misconduct. Now fundamental part of academic writing is referencing, and you publish any article in a journal or in an institutional journal, so you need to have referencing. Now if you fail to reference the sources correctly, so you can be subjected to accusations by the academia that it is a academic misconduct, like such as plagiarism, and this can ruin your career, having really adverse consequences. So referencing, it means that it is very, very essential. Now, what are the sources of references? Now, references could be anything which is available, like it could be books. So you can always go to the library. You can find some textbooks, some reference books, some monographs, or any other published work. So you can take the information from there. It can be a journal article. So these articles are already published in academic or scholarly journals. So you can take the information from there. It could be a paper which has been presented in a conference or a symposia. So once they are presented in a particular conference or symposia, you can use that information also for referencing. Apart from this, you have the reports, like say the research reports or the government reports, like say you have the publications by the World Health Organization, the WHO. So their reports can be used as source of references. Already say so much of research work is going on and it is published as thesis or dissertations. Now these academic works, though they are submitted as a part of a degree program, but they can also be source of referencing. Or we can take up the material from the websites. This could be online articles, it could be blogs or other web-based materials, it could be the newspaper articles. So all these are the sources from which we can take the material, and they are the sources of references for our study. Now coming to the different referencing styles. Now there are various styles in which referencing can be done. So I'll just introduce you to a few. Now, the first is the American Psychological Association or APA referencing style. Now, this style is commonly used in the social sciences, and it includes the author, date citations, and at the end of the article, a reference list is given. Now, the second referencing style is MLA, which stands for Modern Language Association. Now, this referencing style is often used in the humanities and uses in-text citations with the work cited list at the end of the document. Next referencing style is the Harvard style. Now, this referencing style is commonly used in the social sciences and sciences, and it includes author, date citations, and at the end of the document, there is a reference list. Then we have the Chicago style, and in this style, a variety of academic disciplines are using this Chicago style, and it includes footnotes or endnotes with the bibliography at the end of the document. Then we have the Turabian system, which is based upon the Chicago style and is often used in academic writing, particularly in the streams of history, literature, and the arts. Now, the next style is the IEEE style, which is Institute of Electrical and Electronic Engineers. Now, as the name itself suggests, this style is commonly used in engineering and technology fields and uses numbered citations with the reference list at the end of the document. Then we have the Vancouver style. Now, this referencing style is one of importance for us because it is often used in medical and scientific research and includes numbered citations with the reference list at the end of the document. Now, I have named, say, 6 styles of referencing, and out of that, which style to use or which referencing system to be used. Now, this purely depends upon the academic discipline involved. Say, because we are all in medical fields, so medical nursing and other health sciences, they are mainly using the Harvard and Vancouver system. Whereas the APA style is for social sciences, including psychology, education, and sociology. MLA style for humanities, including literature, languages, and culture studies. And the Turabian style for business, history, and fine arts. So the bottom line is that we have 2 systems to discuss, the Harvard and the Vancouver system. Now, what protocol committee or journal editors they look for in references? Now, because we are going to write an article, we are going to submit it to the journal for publishing, and once it is subjected for publication, say we need to understand what the editors want from the researcher. So first and foremost thing which the journal wants, that the referencing should be done in the style which has been recommended by the journal. So they are going to provide a format for publishing the article, and first thing they look for, whether you have uh, gone as per the format provided or you have not bothered to look into the format which is provided. Now, second thing they look for is, are the references which you have added up with your article, are they relevant or they are not so much matching to whatever you have published in the work. Now, the third thing what they look for is whether the researcher has included the key studies related to that topic or they have missed the key studies in the topic. Next thing, whether the references which have been included in the research paper, are they recent or they are from a long past. So they look for whether the references are from the recent articles which have been published. Now, next thing they look for is how good is your referencing formatting. So have you referenced the articles correctly or not, as per the style which you have used. Now, they also look for that whatever citations you have given, can they locate the articles based upon the referencing list which you have provided at the end of it. So they will randomly, check 1 or 2 articles from the reference list, the references they will pick up, and they will try to see whether they can find the matching study through the Google search or they are not able to find. Now, a big question, because I've been repeatedly using few terms. So a big question which comes to the mind is, what is references and what is bibliography? So let us try to answer these questions. Along with that, I've been using certain terminologies repeatedly and probably we are not aware. So let us become familiar with some of those terms. So the common terms related to referencing. So first term which I have been using is in-text citation. Now an in-text citation means a brief reference to a source within the body of the text of an academic work. Say we are writing the introduction part of our research paper, and during the process of writing the introduction, say we add up onto the references which we have used or which we are going to add up to our reference list. So an in-text citation, it typically includes the author's name and the publication year. And if you have given the author's name and the publication year, it is helpful for the reader to know from where that particular piece of information has come from. Second thing is bibliography. Now, bibliography is a list of sources used in the academic work, and typically it is located at the end of the work. Now, bibliography may sometimes include sources that were not cited as such in the text, but you have taken the help from those sources, so you are going to add up there all those citations in your bibliography. Now, the next thing is a reference. Now, a reference is a specific source cited in an academic work, and this is indicated by in-text citation. So, in the previous slide, I have talked about in-text citation, where we have included the author's name and the publication year, and a reference is the source from which we have put that in-text citation. So this source could be a book, it could be an article, a website, or any other type of source which I have discussed in the previous slides. Now, next thing which comes is the reference list. Now, reference list means a list of all the sources which have been cited in the academic work, and again it is located at the end of the work. Now, it may include sources that were consulted but not cited in the text. So the sources were consulted, but as such, they were not cited. So footnote is another term which is related to referencing. Now, footnote is a note at the bottom of the page. Foot itself shows it is at the bottom. So bottom of the page in an academic work, and this provides additional information or clarification about a particular point. So it may also be used to provide a citation. Another counterpart of or a similar one to the footnote is endnote. Now, endnote, as the name suggests, it is located at the end of the chapter or entire work, rather than like a footnote which is put up at the bottom of the page. So I hope these terms are clear. The common terms related to referencing like in-text citation, bibliography, reference, reference list, footnote, and endnote. Now moving ahead with the difference in the two. So bibliography and reference. Any issue? Okay, bibliography is listing all the materials that have been consulted while writing the essay or book, and references means those have been referenced in the article or the book. Bibliography not directly included in the text, whereas references are directly included in the text, arranged alphabetically, and references may be arranged alphabetically or in the numeric style. Now coming to two important styles of writing the references in the medical field. Now I discussed that there are two styles which we used in the medical field. One is the Harvard style and other one is the Vancouver style. So before we go on to the details of the two, let us just try to understand the differences between these two styles. Now, first thing is in-text citations. Now, when we talk about in-text citations, when we are writing an article and we are using the Vancouver style of referencing, so we have numbers in the in-text citations. So we do not write the name of the author or the year of publication, but we write the number. Say we write number 1 in the introduction part. So that number 1 article will be matching in the reference list in the end. Whereas in the Harvard style, it uses author date in-text citation. Say you're writing in introduction and you have referenced an article. The author of the article is Bindu, and the date, the year in which it was published was say 2003. So you are going to write in-text citation as Bindu 2003. Whereas in Vancouver style, you will mention it as number 1. So second thing is the reference lists. Now the reference list in Vancouver style is organized numerically according to the order of citation in the text. Say you start the referencing list from the introduction part of your research article. So the number 1 comes there, and then you keep on increasing the number as you reach up to the discussion. So the numerical order is followed of the citation in the text. Whereas in the Harvard style, the reference list is organized alphabetically by author's last name. So the surname is the one which is mentioned first, and it is in an alphabetical order, not in the order in which it has been cited in text. Now the citation format, in-text citation, say in case of Vancouver style, we use the numbers and the numbers are put up as superscripts. Whereas in Harvard styles, we use parentheses to enclose the author's name and the publication year. So here we are using the name, say we'll put a bracket, Bindu, say 2003, bracket close. Whereas in Vancouver style, we will just put up as a superscript number at the end of the sentence after the full stop. Now, abbreviation usage in the Vancouver style, say the title of the journal can be put up as an abbreviation. Whereas in Harvard style, it does not allow the use of abbreviations. So in Vancouver style, you can use the abbreviations, and those abbreviations for the journals can be obtained from the PubMed list. Now, regarding the formatting, say the formatting in case of Vancouver styles includes only the author's name, title, journal name, and publication date. Whereas in case of Harvard style, it includes elements such as publication date, publisher, place of publication for books. So these are the basic differences between the two styles. So now moving on to how to write a reference in Harvard style. So say if we are taking the material from a book, so how you start writing the reference in the Harvard style? So first thing which comes is the author's last name, and then comes the initials. Say if the author name is J. Smith, so you are going to write as at Smith J. Then next comes the year of publication. Say for the example, it is given in the bracket 2010. So year of publication comes in the bracket. Next is the title of the book. So the title of the book is mentioned. Then place of publication. Say this book is being published in New York and publisher is from Random House. And this publisher means after the place of publication, there's a full colon and then you have the Random House, right? The publisher name. Now, if you're taking the, you're putting the reference of a journal article. So again, the author last name, comma, initials, then full stop, then bracket, year of publication, title of the article, title of journal, comma, volume number, brackets may issue number, and page range. Say for the example, say Jones, comma, M, full stop, bracket में 2015, year of publication, full stop, then the title of the article, role of references in academic writing, full stop, title of the journal in full. You're not using abbreviations. So journal of academic writing, comma, volume is 3, issue number in brackets comes 2, comma, the page range 10 to 20. Now, if you're using a website and you have to cite the website, so how you're going to put up in the reference? So again, author, last name, comma, initials, year of publication, or if there's an update, then title of the web page, full stop, website name, and the day when you have retrieved the month, day, year from the website. So Smith, comma J, full stop, brackets में year of publication, the benefits of citations in research, that is the title of the web page, then website name is research tips, and it was retrieved on Feb 24, 2023 from this particular URL. Now, if you are referencing a thesis, so again, in Harvard style, I think by now it must be very clear that we always start with the author last name and then comma, then put the initials. Then in the brackets, year of publication, title of the thesis, name of the institution and location. So like this, the example has been given. Then coming to the newspaper article, now again you have the author last name, initials, year of publication, month, day, title of the article, name of the newspaper and the page on which the particular article was published. So I hope the referencing in Howard style, how to write, the steps are clear. So moving on to the most important style of referencing, that is the Vancouver style referencing. Now, Vancouver style citing, it was given by, the rules for this were given by the International Committee of Medical Journals at Vancouver. That is why the name Vancouver style in year 1978. And these are maintained by the US National Library of Medicine. And most of the medical writings these days, the journals prefer having Vancouver style of reference writing. Now, the reference cited in the text in Arabic numbers, consecutively in the order in which they appear in the text. Now, suppose you're writing an article and you start writing the introduction and you have your first citation and a number 1 is given. Subsequently, you keep on increasing the numbers in a serial order. So the next article which has been quoted gets 2, like that, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever the articles you have used. Now, if suppose in your discussion part, you have used the same article which was used in the introduction. So again, the same number will be used in the discussion. Say number 1 article, if used in the discussion again, it will again be put up as number 1. So the reference number cited in text appears the same throughout the article if you have repeatedly used the article in your paper. Reference number cited in the text appears in superscript or in the bracket format. And several recent, for an example I have given, several recent studies have investigated the effect of exercise on cognitive function. So I have used 3 articles for this. So if I'm using 3 consecutive articles, so what I have done in the superscript 1-3, it means that my reference list in the end will have article 1, 2 and 3, which are going to be the articles from which this particular sentence has been cited. Now coming to how to write a reference in Vancouver style. Now here the journal article, we start with author last name, then initials, the title of the article, abbreviated name of the journal, year of publication, volume, bracket may issue, then full colon, then page number. Now, for example, the same thing written in Vancouver style, Jones, comma, M, full stop. The role of references in academic writing, full stop. J, acad writing. Now, this, the journal name has been abbreviated. Then again, there's a full stop. Then year of publication, then there is a semicolon, then for the volume, then issue, again a full colon, and then the page numbers have been mentioned. Now, if you're taking a material from a book and you're citing it, so when you are putting up the reference list in Vancouver style, the author last name initials come first, then the title of the book, place of publication, publisher, and the year of publication. Now, this is what is different over here. The year of publication is coming after the journal name, after the publisher name in Vancouver style. Whereas in the Harvard style, the year was coming immediately after the author initial name. Right? So if you're writing a reference in Vancouver style and you're using a material from a chapter in a book, so again, the format says the author last name, then comma initials, then chapter title, in. Then you have to name the editors, last name, initials for the editors. Then comes the title of the book, place of publication, publisher, year, then the page numbers. Say, for example, Jones M, then the chapter name is Writing Tips, and this chapter was published in a book which has been edited by this person, Smith J, who's the editor. The book name is The Art of Writing, published in New York by Random House Publisher, then year of publication, and the chapter is from page number 34 to 45. So if it is an edited book, so you start with the editors, say multiple editors are there. So you start with the editors, last name, initials, then writing strategies, this is the title of the book, then place of publication, publisher, and year. Now, if you are using an e-book for the citation, so how you're going to write the reference in the Vancouver style? You start with, again, the author name, last initials, then title of the ebook, the place of publication, publisher, year of publication, then the format, because you are using an ebook, and you have to mention the URL. So available from the particular URL, and cited date of access. So the date when you have taken that material, so that date of access should be mentioned in your reference list. Now, if it is a web page, again, the author name, title of the web page, website name, year of publication, and again, it is very important that you have to tell it is available from the link of the website has to be mentioned. Now, if you're using a thesis, again, the author's name, then the title of the thesis, the name of the institution where it has been, university where it has been published, or the institute from where the thesis has been published, and the place, location, and the year. And if it is a newspaper article, similar way, the format in the Vancouver style will be used. Now, whatever I'm discussing, this reference writing in Vancouver style, you will get lot of information from the net. And once you're using it for the first time, you can download one such, format, and then you can write the reference list accordingly. Now, references, we have already discussed the term citations, which are part of in-text, and reference list is which is lying at the end of the work on a separate page. So this slide is particularly showing you, say, one article, little text has been mentioned, and you can see the circular part which is highlighted. It is a superscript 1 and say 2. So, and this is the writing, and if you are having these numbers 1 and 2, so this is in-text citation. And at the end of the work on a separate page, what you have is the reference list, and number 1 over here refers to this. Number 2 over here refers to this. So this editor book or this thing, whatever has been used, has been accordingly mentioned over here in the reference list. Now, the next question is where all you will be using the references. Now, because you are all science students and science faculty, so the reference list will be utilized by us. Say if we are submitting a synopsis of or a protocol for a research work, we'll be needing it. If we are writing a thesis, we'll be needing this reference list. Or if we are sending an article for publication, again, we'll be needing to put up a reference list. And very, very important thing to note that, the correctness of your reference list, it just indicates how sincere you are as an author. Because if you have taken utmost precaution in making a very accurate reference list, it just shows that you are sincere in your work and you are committed to your work. Now, a typical reference citation should identify the source precisely. It should describe the document sufficiently and guide the readers adequately if they wish to obtain the document. Now, what kind of information needs a reference? So, there are different kinds of information which we may use in our article or say in a synopsis or in a thesis. So, if we are using a direct quote, anytime a direct quote is used, the source definitely has to be cited. Sometimes what happens, we take some information from an article, but while we are writing our own article, what we do is we put that same information in our own words. But definitely, there is definitely a source for that information, though it has been paraphrased. But again, whatever source we have taken that information, the source must still be cited, even if we have paraphrased that information. Now, if you are using any data or statistics, say again, they need to be properly cited. So just telling, what was the source of that data. Now, if you have taken any novel idea or concept which was presented by somebody else, and it is not your original thought, and you have taken from a source, then definitely it needs to be cited. Another thing commonly which most of the people make error is that they take up the images from a standard textbook. So any image or say any graph which has been used in a document, and that document was not created by the person who is using that graph or diagram, again that must be cited. Whatever the source of information for the image or the graph, again that needs to be cited. Now, next question comes is, what kind of information does not need a reference? So if you have well-known facts, we do not need to give references for the facts. Say if we are defining that neonates are babies from 0 to 28 date of birth. So we don't need a reference for this. Say Earth is round, or the Delhi is the capital of India. Now these are well-known facts, and for these facts we do not need a reference. Now coming to the principles of reference writing, now how we ensure that our reference writing is good. So the first principle is accuracy. Now the information in the reference must be accurate and match the source material. Say somebody copies the first number from your reference list and puts it on the Google search. So it should lead to that exact article which you have cited in your work. So accuracy in reference writing is the first and foremost principle which has to be adhered to. Second is consistency. Now we start with a reference list, and we have say 30 references in our list. One reference we have written in Vancouver style, other reference we have written in Harvard style. So that should not be done. So we must follow the same formatting rules for all the references. So one style should be used. So if you are submitting to a journal, it depends upon the journal requirements. If you are writing for the thesis or for the synopsis, now most of the universities and institutes will be giving the guidelines to the residents, to the postgraduates, to the researchers, to the faculty. So we have to adhere to the consistent style. Next thing is completeness. Now completeness means one reference should have all the details which are needed for completing the reference. So we have to mention the author name, the initials, then title, the date of publication, the journal, everything, the page number, the issue, volume number, year of publication, everything. So we should not put up a reference in which say the page number is not mentioned, or the volume and the section is not mentioned. So we have to ensure that all the details are correctly mentioned. Next thing is clarity. Now the reference should be clear and easy to understand, with all the information to allow the reader to locate the source. Now next thing is relevance. Now we, when we are writing or we are writing our work, so we come across so many articles. So we should include only the articles which are relevant and directly related to the content of our work. So relevance of the references is again very, very important aspect which we need to look into. Next is appropriateness. Use an appropriate style for the subject area and the type of document. Now the correct order. Now this is again another important thing. Say we must number our references in the correct order. It's not that we are using Vancouver style, the number one in the in-text citation and in the reference list at the end of the document, they are not matching. So number 1 over there is saying something else. And when you come to the reference list, it is mentioning some other article. So place the elements of the reference in the correct order. And again, if you're using Harvard style, it is alphabetical. And if you're using Vancouver style, it is numeric. Then timeliness. Use current and up-to-date sources to ensure that the information presented in the document is accurate. So all recent articles should be mentioned so that, you know, when you send your work for publication, the editors know that you are up to date with your information. Now, this is example of citing references in the text. So here it has been seen that the numbers have been mentioned as superscripts and they have been put in parentheses. So this style is acceptable acceptable. Now, I have a few questions for you. Now, can you just look into this list? Which of these is the correct method?
40 मिनट में पहुंच गए भैया
Which of these is the correct? Anybody from the audience can answer this.
हाँ?
Yes, I can see the message. Sonia has mentioned it is number 3. Very right. Dr. Prashant has also mentioned. So the third line is showing the correct way. So the numbers come after the full stop and there are commas in between. So in this, the mistake is the numbers are coming before the full stop. And over here, the semicolons have been put up again, which is not right. Now the third one is right, where there is a full stop and then there are commas in between the numbers. Okay, now the second one, which is correct in this? So I have many answers for this. Very rightly, all those who have answered one, it is correct. Because here, what has been done, there's a full stop. And then in the superscript, they have used the parenthesis. So this is right. But in this, the error is that they have not used this as superscript. It is written in line. And in the third one, it is written as subscript, again, which is not acceptable. Very good. So when multiple references are cited at a given place in the text, say if you're using multiple references, as I mentioned earlier also, you will use a hyphen. So 2 to 5, you do not need to write 2, 3, 4, 5. So you are going to write 2 to 5, say 4 to 7. Use a hyphen to join the first and last numbers that are inclusive and use commas to separate non-inclusive numbers. So if you are using just 4 and 7th, so 4, 7, and if you are using 2 to 5 all continuous, 2, 3, 4, 5, you will put a hyphen. Now, journal reference, there are two main components of a reference, the bibliographic elements and the punctuation marks. As I have mentioned earlier also, when we are putting up a reference list, say we have to follow the correct format. And in the correct format, we have two things. One is the bibliographic element, second is the punctuation mark. I have been mentioning about a semicolon, full stop, and a full colon. So let us just try to understand further about this. Now, the bibliographic elements are, say, the author's name in the correct sequence. So whatever way or the order in which the author's name have been mentioned in the article, so same way we have to put up the author's name in the bibliographic. Then correct title of the article to come after the author's name. तो यहाँ पे author के नाम आए, उसके बाद हमारा title of the article आए. उसके बाद correct journal abbreviation as given in the PubMed. So जो भी format उसमें abbreviation का दिया हुआ है PubMed में, we will be using that. Then year of the article given after the journal abbreviation. Then there's a semicolon, then volume number. If there is an issue, you can put up the brackets and put the issue. Then there is a full colon and page numbers come in the last. Now, journal abbreviations, this can be obtained from the PubMed. So you can reach up to this journal's database and then enter the full journal title to view its abbreviation. So this will give you online all the abbreviations of the journals, whichever are there in the journal database of PubMed. Now, another thing what we need to look into is if an article which we are using as a reference has 6 authors or say less than 6 authors. So if there are 6 or less authors, so we have to write all of them in the same format with the surname and then the initials. Now, if an article has 7 or more authors, sometimes we find, studies where we'll have up to 10 authors. So if there are 7 or more, so we will mention the first 3 or first 6 in the same way, and then we will mention et al, ETAL. Now, online journal articles nowadays can be cited using the DOI number. Like say for this article, they have used the DOI number. Then coming to the punctuation marks. So there is a full stop after the last author. In between all the authors, there are commas, full stop after the last author. Then there is a journal name followed by full stop. Then comes the title of the article followed by full stop. Then the journal name. There's a space in between. Then the year of publication. After the year of publication, you put a semicolon. Then there is the volume. And if there is an issue, you have to have the brackets and put the issue. Then comes the full colon and then comes the page. Now page number, you can use a hyphen and say the page number is say 445 to 447. So you can just put it up as 445-7. You do not need to put up as 445 to 447 in full. Now let us again do one exercise. Spot the wrong element in this. I think somebody should mute. Spot the wrong element in this.
Please write in the chat
Okay.
box only.
Okay. So wrong elements is full stop after the author's initials not to be there, as pointed out rightly in the chat box. So you are not supposed to put these full stops over here, but rather it should be Hagstrom AN. Then et al should not be written after 4 authors. It should be 6 authors and then you write the et al. So after 4 authors, you should not write. Then the next issue is the journal name. Full stop after the end of the article title. That is again missing. यहाँ पे एक full stop आएगा. Then journal name, with it should start with the capital. Then there should be a semicolon over here. And then there's a full colon, then page number 882 to 887. It should be written 882 to -7. Right? So correct reference will be written in this format. Again, spot the wrong element in this. Yes, please. Spot the wrong element. Okay. Page number, very right. Okay. So if you see this full colon, this is not needed over here. Then you see after the journal name, the semicolon should have been there, which has been put up, and then full colon missing between the issue, volume, and page numbers. So accordingly, this has to be mentioned. So the correct reference will be written in this format. Now coming to the different types of references, just a quick revision before I sum up. So how to write journal references? Vancouver style referencing. Journal single author article. So name of the author, the title of the article, the name of the journal, the year of publication, volume, and then page number. For multiple authors, up to 6 authors, all the names should be there. And after 6, you have to mention et al. How to write from a book? So author name, title of the book, edition, place of publication, publisher name, year of publication, page number. Coming to a book reference, say the same order, we have mentioned the book reference. Chapter in a book reference. So there's the name of the author of that particular chapter, the name of the chapter in, then followed by the name of the editors, then name of the book, then followed by place of publication, publisher, year of publication, and then the page number. For a conference presentation, again the name of the authors, the title of the presentation, and where it was presented, in which year, place has to be mentioned. For electronic sources, internet reference, website, complete work, journal articles from the internet. So in case of sources that may be subject to alteration, it is important to acknowledge the date of information when that information was accessed. So because changes may take place, because certain websites may have some changes, some may go, some may not be later accessed. So in that scenario, say the date of information when you have accessed the information should be clearly mentioned. So like this, last accessed December 25, 1999. Website of web pages, again you have to mention last accessed on which date. The complete works, reports, database on the internet. Again, how many references to put up? Now this is again very important area where we need to understand if we are writing a synopsis or a protocol for a research work which we intend to carry out in future, say around 15 to 20 references is good enough. But if you're writing a thesis or dissertation, normally there is no limit to the number of references in the reference list. The more the list, the longer the list, it means that you have done your groundwork well. You have well detailed your knowledge regarding the topic. You have read well. So you'll be able to say with more conviction your knowledge. Now, for writing the references nowadays, it's I remember when I did my thesis, it was a very tedious task. And every time I used to change one number in the main list in the article, my whole list used to go haywire. Now we have, softwares which are available, and these are free softwares, freely available. So you can use Mendeley or Zotero, and using these softwares, you can, prepare your reference list, which will be so easy for you to actually prepare. By the time you finish writing your discussion, your reference list will be ready if you're using these softwares. Now, we have reference manager, we have ProCite, we have EndNote, and all these have made the bibliography seem very easy. Now, just concluding the talk with some tips regarding the referencing, that be consistent and accurate, never cite a reference without reading. Now, this is again very, very important. So many times what we do is we read one article, and in that article, say they also must have cited a work of some other article. Now, what we do is we have not read that article from where that particular researcher has taken the material. I'll give you an example. Say I'm reading an article written by Bindu. And in that article written by Bindu, say there was a mention of another article which was written by Rekha. So I cannot write or cite Rekha as in my reference list because I have not read Rekha's article. I have read Bindu's article. So please make sure that you never cite a reference without reading the article, and save, most of the times make it a habit to save all the references either as a hard copy or save the soft copy. Now, avoid cross-referencing from other articles without having read the original paper. That is what I mentioned, that cross-referencing should be avoided at all costs. Say if you're reading an article by Bindu and there is an article reference in her article by name of Rekha, try to download Rekha's article and then you use that article as a reference in your work. If you are referencing a website, immediately note the web page and the date which you have accessed the information on. Abstracts, if most of the times what we the problem what we come across is, now most of the journals are paid journals and what we get as free access is only the abstract. So we should refrain from using abstracts as references as much as possible. Now, if you really want a full article, try to write a mail to the researcher who has published that work, requesting him to send you a copy of the full article. But you should, avoid writing the abstracts as references. When you know that that article is not available, so should not use it as a reference in your study. Now, to conclude, referencing is a very, very important skill, and always practice makes one perfect. So the proficiency in writing the references will come only with practice. You publish 1 or 2 articles, you learn something, you publish 10 articles, you are more thorough with the things. And if you publish 50 articles, I am sure that then writing bibliography or writing a reference is never a problem. And please make this thing one thing in your mind, that mistakes are easily recognized. If we are smart, the editors of the journal are smarter than us. And the things have been made easier with the use of technology. So softwares you can easily use, you can learn how to use, and definitely your life will become much easier as a researcher. So thank you for a patient hearing.
Thank you, ma'am, for very informative and interactive session. And now I would like to request to all participants, if there is any query regarding today's session, then please write your query in the chat box or raise your hand so I can send you the unmute request. I'm just waiting for your query in the chat box. Please write your query in the chat box or raise your hand so I can send you the unmute request.
Amit, can I say something? Hello?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Definitely, ma'am.
Yeah. Hi, Dr. Bindu. This is Dr. Jyoti.
Hello,
Yeah,
ma'am.
wonderful talk. I also learned a lot and very interesting.
Thank you
Yeah,
so
it was
much,
very,
ma'am.
very interesting. And even you write so many papers, but what happens? You simply just cut the reference and you paste it. You never care to see that whether it's in Vancouver style, especially for the students, Vancouver style or the Harvard style. So that the way you have actually presented it, it was very wonderful. I hope all the students are benefited. I am benefited, no doubt.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, I would like to share my PPT with the students, ma'am, because I have given the
That
formats.
has to do. Amit has to do.
Definitely, ma'am. I have already sharing all PPTs and recorded session also for 1 year through our statistical app with the participants. They have access for throughout 1 year.
Yes, sir. That will be wonderful.
Okay. Now I think all participants get benefited from today's session. Receive any queries in the chat box. So I think you clearly explain everything accurately and very precisely said. So no participant, there is no query in the chat box. Now I would like to introduce the chairperson of today's session, Dr. Jyoti Batra ma'am. Ma'am is presently Dean Research and has been associate as a professor. Just a second. Professor of Biochemistry with Santosh, deemed to be University, Ghaziabad, Uttar Pradesh, for more than 23 years. Here, she has delivered lectures, contributed in course enrichment, and supervised many doctoral research. Dr. Batra ma'am has filed patents and copyrights and have published a rich number of research papers, Scopus, PubMed, Web of Science, other index journals. And Professor Dr. Jyoti Batra ma'am has research experience in NAC framework and has been supporting Santosh Deemed to be University in holding its flag for high score in research and innovation, criteria third for NAC. During her tenure as research dean, a member of IQAC in Santosh Dean to University, she has counted multiple achievements. Some of them are like headed Central Research Facility of the University and headed Bioethics Unit of University and this research policy and doctoral research procedure, started and healing incubation center in the university and many more. In the capacity of Research Dean at Santosh Dean to University, Dr. Batra ma'am has been encouraging and supporting research and development activities in Santosh Dean to University. During her tenure as a research dean, she has conducted multiple workshops, measure out of the Section 8 company tax and establishment process and entrances of government scheme, orientation program 1 3 2001 and insight on criteria theory and many more. Uh, Jyoti ma'am has been recognized with many awards, honorary membership, and inviting consulting expert by multiple organizations like Award, Exemplary Research Award 2021, International Association for Research Scholar, Innovation Excellence Award 2001, 2021, Innovation Society, and the International Certificate on Principle of Bioethics and Human Rights on the UNESCO Universal Declaration on Bioethics and Human Rights in the Medical and Health Science Education. UNESCO Chair Bioethics Safifa Department of Education on 31st October 2020. And the International Association of Research Scholars, IARS, in International Association for Research from diversified fields of studies dedicated to play influential role in the global promotion of research activities in diversified areas of studies. IARS recognized the inspirational contribution of Dr. Jyoti Batra through its new Delhi chapter towards support and area of research in biochemistry and honor her efforts with the prestigious IARS SP Jain Research Scholar of the Year 2020. Dr. Batra received her letter of appreciation along with honorary research grant of $50 USD on 15 July 2020. There are a list of several awards. We have no words to describe in such a short period of time. There are 89, approximately more than 89 research publication in the name of Dr. Jyoti Batra ma'am. And ma'am has been serving as external examiner, paper setter, research thesis evaluator, and external supervisor for many reputed medical college university. Now, except that, beside that, ma'am currently serving as a state coordinator, uh, state coordinator for the Delhi NCR region. These type of workshops and research methodology all over the India. Now, I would, without taking too much time, I would like to request ma'am to kindly share her views with the participants and kindly conclude today's session. Please, ma'am, welcome, ma'am. Am I audible, ma'am? Hello, am I audible, ma'am? I again request to Dr. Jyoti Matra, ma'am, please kindly conclude today's session. Am I audible, ma'am?
I think, sir, ma'am has left the meeting.
Sorry for inconvenience. Ma'am is just joining again. There is some technical issue. Ma'am is just joining within 1 minute. We are just waiting for the experience and expertise shared by the ma'am and some kind words from the ma'am. She's joining right now.
So,
Now I would again like to request ma'am. Ma'am is joining right now. There is some technical issue. Sorry for the inconvenience. Now I would again like to request ma'am to kindly share some views regarding today's session and kindly sum up today's session. Please, ma'am, welcome, ma'am.
yeah, I mean,
Yes,
it's
ma'am. Hello. Yes, ma'am.
this, yeah, I think I'm currently moving, traveling to the internet very bad. It is broken it as I type in section and
पीछे चल रहा तुम्हारा आपको बहुत पीछे चल रहा है
hello, hello,
yes ma'am yes ma'am
yeah. Can you hear me?
yes ma'am audible now
Hello,
yes ma'am
can you hear
yes
me? Oh,
yes ma'am please
okay,
welcome
okay.
ma'am
As I was saying, like, yeah, it was a wonderful session. My internet connection is not very good, so kindly excuse if it's broken. But there are a lot of things which I learned today from Bindu. So it was a very good session, and differences I was thinking were in actually, I was very interested in by because I come from that background, the medical college it is utilized. She has given knowledge of the type of differences. So that was a question, and I'm pretty sure that all the participants will benefit with and anything that is going to share this participants. Hello. Hello.
So, thank you to the host. Thank you to the moderator for today's session, Dr. Jyoti Patra ma'am. Thank you all the participants. I hope I have cleared all your doubts. I've been putting in the chat box all the answers to your queries. Please look at the answers. One important query was if it's a government document, you don't have an author. So you can just mention it without the author name. So you can just mention the organization who has published and then all the other details regarding the title of the document, the publication date, publisher or issuing organization, and if there is a series or a report number, then the place of publication. So you do not need an author name for a government publication. Same applies even for we are using the reports published by WHO. So there is never a single author. It is a report published by WHO, so we use it as such. So most of the time when you are using this kind of information and using it as a reference, so what you can do is directly copy the URL and put it as a reference. Do we
Hello.
have Amit Tiwari, sir?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Due to some
Huh.
network issue, I'm still
Yeah.
trying to connect. I hope there is no remaining query. All queries are attached to the chat box by the ma'am. Uh, is there any query remaining? Then you can still raise your hand so I can move toward the end of the today's session. I'm just waiting for 1 minute and then
Yeah.
move towards the end of the today's session.